On this, Bilal Sarwary joins us from the capital, Kabul. Bilal, when you look at recent months, Afghan National Security Forces are losing men on the ground and morale is dipping. What impact do you think that President Obama's decision will have on the battleground?
I think it's a welcome news on the battlefield where Afghan National Security Forces heavily rely on American airstrikes, drone strikes, and intelligence capabilities. But I think it's also a very practical decision because President Barack Obama and the American officials now know that the Taliban are gaining territory, that the Afghan government is on the back foot in the countryside, and Al-Qaeda, most importantly, is making a comeback, most importantly in the east of the country and southeast on the border with Pakistan. And the presence of Al-Qaeda and foreign forces, including ISIS or pockets of ISIS, is really worrying the U.S. officials. Let's not forget, they pay $4 billion every year for the Afghan National Security Forces to keep Afghanistan safe and prevent it from becoming what they call a safe haven for Al-Qaeda. And they do not want to see a repeat of what most American officials say, a 9/11 style attack or a threat of that attack from Afghanistan.
So 8,400 instead of 5,500 throughout 2017. What sort of training and advice will the U.S. military provide to the National Security Forces?
I think the training is more for the American consumption because President Obama and the American officials do not want the American people to know that there's still a war going on. I think the reality in Afghanistan is that U.S. Special Forces are on the battlefield, whether that's directing close air support or helping the Afghan government to retake villages and districts, which was not a mission that was defined by President Obama. So this is more about fighting, less about training, but there's a very close eye that the U.S. government is keeping on the Afghan National Security Forces, whether that's keeping an eye on hundreds of millions of dollars, preventing corruption, which is very endemic in the Afghan National Security Forces, or that's trying to prevent foreign fighters from creating a threat that the U.S. is quite fearful of. As we know, last year there was an Al-Qaeda camp destroyed not very far from the Kandahar airfield, which is home to a quite significant number of U.S. forces, fighter jets, and drones. So it's also about that. But more importantly, this injects the oxygen of confidence into the Afghan government, into the Afghan society. And I think the Afghan government is hoping this will help bring businesses back. People will be now saying, well, the Americans are here for another year, so the country will not fall, a province will not fall. And that's why I'm going to invest some of my money, if not all of my money.